Welcome back to the Local Swing Podcast. On today's episode, we have a gentleman that runs a business that I'm very familiar with because I used to do that myself. Today's guest is veteran Nick Brown with Bravo Zulu Lawn and Landscape. So thanks for stopping in here.
Yeah.
So our little backstory, we know each other because Watervliet is a pretty tight-knit community. So that's how Nick and I know each other. And I used to be in the lawn landscaping business myself. I was, since I was in college, I believe, and then I ended up taking over the business, and not in it anymore, but Nick is. So that's how we know each other. He is also a veteran, like I mentioned, and we always like to give a round of applause for everyone who sacrifices in that manner. So where did you get the name Bravo Zulu from?
So, it's funny. A lot of people actually ask that. So, Bravo Zulu is like an acronym in the Navy that actually means job well done. So, for example, like a higher up to a subordinate, when they think they're doing a good job or something like that, or a task is completed well, they'll say Bravo Zulu shipmate, and that means you did a good job. So, like, I think I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to think of like names to come up with.
Yeah.
And, like, I didn't want to, like, truly push the military thing down people's throat.
Right.
But I just came up with it. It hit me all at once. I was like, holy crap, this is it. Bravo Zulu. So, again, some people catch it when I show up to do work. Some people think I'm a cop. Or some people catch that I was asked if I was in the military. But that's why. So, Bravo Zulu means job well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that because I'm going to ask you now, what things did you learn in the military that help you be a successful business owner now? And that's cool that that's where actually Bravo Zulu comes from. I had no idea what that meant.
Yeah.
So what would you say, like the things that you learned in your time in the military that translate the best to being a business owner?
Honestly, I think I learned communication.
Yeah.
I think in the military, if communication's off, like, somebody can get really hurt.
Sure.
You know? And at the lower level, obviously safety is important, but if communication's off, your day-to-day regiment's thrown off, people have to like fill in, gotta redo things and stuff like that. But within landscaping, while like I said, safety is important, for me, efficiency is key. And if your communication's not there, you don't know where you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be doing,
Right.
The task at hand, even expectations with clients,
Mm-hmm.
then your efficiency falls off. And if your efficiency's off, then your business is gonna...
Yeah, you're spinning your wheels. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
You just touched on something too that I can relate to is communication. I'm a firefighter, and same thing in the military. If communication's off, there's the potential for really bad things happening. So that's something that is really taken seriously. So at what point do you think that you decided, I'm going to go out on my own and I'm going to do something and be my own business owner? And then second part of that is like, how did you choose the lawn and landscape industry as how you wanted to do it?
So I was actually in school for business with a focus on entrepreneurship, and I have been for a while. So essentially I was going to school after I got out of high school and for art and entrepreneurship. And then I was going further into my schooling, and I couldn't get a co-signer to go to like the next phase. So I joined the military. And then after I got out of the military, I was like, what do I do now? So I had my GI Bill, and I was going to school, and then COVID hit. And so I was doing both. And so I finished up schooling, and then I actually bought my house. It was a 3-family, it was an investment property. And essentially it was like, do I have to continue working while I finish up school? And I was like, I don't really have to, because I kind of essentially house hacked it. So my 3% interest rates, God bless.
Right.
I was able to live on the first floor with my partner, and my tenants essentially covered my mortgage. And then, I had money saved up too, so if anything popped up, I was able to take care of it.
Yeah.
And then I was done with school, and I was like, holy crap, like, how do I apply this? So like you said, you've been doing it since you were in college. We all know Bill Sheehy. Shout out Bill Sheehy.
Oh yeah,
Will's Weeds. So we all worked there when we were kids, and then I worked for the City of Watervliet's park department since I was a kid up to I left for the Navy. So I had like a lot of experience with like basic landscaping and things like that. So I was like, listen, and then on Instagram and too, you see guys like, how do you start this? How do you do this? Like,
sure,
kind of side hustles. I was like, well, I don't want to do side hustles, but how do I get into it and like make it the thing?
right.
And I jumped into it, and I think I bought my truck. It was $500 from a buddy who was on deployment, who bought it for like $2,000, but gifted it to me for $500. Went out. My girlfriend's parents donated a mower. I think I went out and spent like $300 on like a blower and a weed whacker that no longer exists.
Oh yeah, no way. Yeah.
And I pushed for it, and one thing led to another, and client after client kind of built up, and yeah, that's how it started. So
that's one thing I learned the hard way. You mentioned like how your blower and your weed whacker from 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah, 4 years ago. Yeah.
Like you don't understand like the level of like the commercial machines like and equipment, like how you need those because you're banging on those machines all day, and you're like the homeowner versions. Yeah. You might think like, oh, I got this really nice. It's by Steel, but like if it's not the one. Exactly. Like it's not going to last very long because you beat them up too much.
Yeah, I think it lasted me literally a month.
Yeah.
It was like electric one. I was like, I'm going to push electric. It's going to be like eco-friendly.
Yeah.
And like while I love pushing that idea, at the end of the day, it just doesn't hold up like the commercial grade stuff does. And I just had to move on real quick.
Yeah. Do you still own the house that you first bought?
I do. Unfortunately, we had a house fire a year ago, and we're doing a complete renovation. So,
all right.
Luckily, at the end of the day, it'll be a brand new house, so that's nice.
All right. I'm sorry to hear that. Obviously, no one was injured. Or
no one was injured. Like everything was good, and if I can give anyone a little tidbit, make sure you have good insurance, which I did. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Business insurance as well, right? I mean,
that's super important.
Yeah,
that stuff's important. Like people don't realize that like. The liability you hold being on someone's property, even like, at the end of the day, everyone's like, you're just mowing a lawn at the lowest level, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think we were weed whacking, and there was a rock that got flung into a window.
Sure.
And we ended up fixing it privately because you don't want to always go through your insurance because they'll drop you or jack your prices up.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's good to have that just in case you never know anything could happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I definitely got hit with a lot of stray rocks in my day,
Yeah.
When I was, mowing. Bill was a little aggressive on the weed whacker if you're watching. We thought about getting Will's Weeds helmets at one point.
That would have been great.
But, so how many employees do you have right now?
Currently, I have about 4 or 5. Some people come in here and there, like part-time type guys, or as needed. Yep. Or I like to call them weekend warriors.
Sure.
And then I have a good crew of guys, younger dudes, all out of the Watervliet High School, which is great.
Love that.
They've actually been with me for almost 3, actually since I started the business, so 3 years. So I'm going to my 4th season. So yeah, 3 years. And I love them. They're great. I took a vacation for my 30th birthday in Italy. 1 season through July, not fully through July, 2 weeks. Yeah. And at the time, one of the kids was 18 years old and was able to run the whole business, pull the trailer, run the zero turn, everything. And I think that those guys are one of the reasons why my business is at where it is today. Yeah. Because when I first started, I hired a couple people and I had to let them go like within a week after they started. Yeah. And I find myself on job sites alone doing it and things like that, or calling in a weekend warrior. And right. So it was good to have, still is good to have guys who are committed and kind of want to be there. Yeah. So you have, we talked about, communication earlier, and now you're managing a team essentially that, you said he's 18, doesn't have a whole lot of life experience at that age. What do you think are the most important things early on to just teach that demographic of worker of like what is important? Honestly, it really just keeps harping on communication. It's like if you have something going on, let me know. One, I want to be here to help you out if you have something going on in your life, and I can kind of guide you. And then it's like I'm not going to know how to readjust if you don't let me know what's going on in your life. So I can
Yeah.
readjust everything that's going on as long as you communicate with me what's going on.
Yeah.
Outside of like work life stuff, I always think like get into investments early.
Yeah.
So whether it's like the stock market or how do I approach like getting into property investments, like get into something early. And if you're not getting into it, just understand it at
Yeah.
the end of the day. That way, when you are ready, you're being proactive and not reactive.
Right.
So yeah.
I think when I was managing some of that age kind of kids, working for me, and I was a stickler on showing up early.
Yeah.
And because of, some things that, people not showing up early, I really started to stress, like, on time is late.
Yeah.
You're not on time unless you're 10 minutes early.
You gotta get going at 8, not like show up at 8.
Right.
Yeah.
And then second part of that is, then there's an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this happened and this happened. So then you need to communicate that. So
Yeah.
it's funny how it all comes back to communication.
Always comes back to communication.
But speaking of being on time, I just want to point out Nick was at least 25 minutes early, 30 minutes maybe to the podcast today, and I was still combing my hair. So
hair looks good.
hey, it takes a while, man. It does. Sometimes it takes a while. So you started basically right after COVID. Is that true? Right?
Essentially, I think I started my business, 2021 or 2022.
Yeah.
I had to look into it. But yeah, like right after COVID.
Yeah. So were any of the COVID restrictions or anything like that still going on? Did you have to
I didn't
navigate
have to
through anything, or like?
No, I didn't have to deal with that. Like I said, I think the only thing that like it's unfortunate, but what it benefited me was that like the housing market was like the percentage rates were like cheap. I also bought my house off market, so I was like able to get into like a really really low mortgage rate, and even after the fire, everyone's like sell the house. I'm like, absolutely not. I'm a 3% interest rate.
Right.
I'm like, this house is going to be like my gold mine in a couple of years. So, at the end of the day, that was like the only thing that like wasn't a detriment, but was actually a benefit. So,
Yeah.
Like I said, unfortunate situation, but it helped me out.
So with managing your team, what do you think is different about if you were to manage like the 18-year-old like Nick Brown and his friends, how they grew up, as to the 18-year-old that is here today in 2025?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I feel like me and my friends were like essentially more present with each other as we're working, essentially. Not that my guys aren't present with each other, but like the cell phone's a big thing. And
Sure.
like I'm 31 now and I'm on the cell phone, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, and finding myself stuck on it here and there.
Yeah.
But like back when I was a kid, we had cell phones, but we weren't able to like scroll TikTok or Instagram reels all day or anything like that.
Right.
My guys are really good about it, honestly, but that is like the big difference is like we didn't have the cell phones.
Yeah.
And then we also didn't have like the noise canceling headphones. We had the string headphones and stuff like that. So like, it's just a little bit different. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. The kids back then too, when I was 18 or even 15, like it was like cool to work.
Yeah.
It's still cool to work now,
Yes.
but you're not really finding like an abundance of kids who want to work. I remember when I was trying to get on Will's Weeds crew, I was only offered like one day, and I kept pushing to get more and more days, and it's literally everybody wanted it, and the people that already had it like weren't letting it go.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's like I do get kids who want to work, but they don't actually. Some of them actually don't want to work. They just kind of want to have like a job and be with their friends and stuff like that. And not everybody's cut out to like be out in the heat all day and everything like that.
Oh no, it's like
It's hard work.
It is hard work, for sure. And it's outside. It's like when we were doing it, you said you had your crew of your buddies. So you're outside, you're listening to music, you're with your buddies, and you're making money. It kind of checks a lot of boxes, you know what I mean? But it also is, you're on your 8th, 9th, 10th hour of doing it, and it's July, and it's and you're up against your list, your schedule, and you're like, I gotta get this, I gotta get to at least this point today, and we can't quit now. And there's a lot more that I would say that goes into it than one guy's trimming, one guy's pushing a mower, and then we go to the next one. I mean, it's definitely something that you have to manage.
I will say I'm blessed. Like the guys that I have working with me from the beginning are dogs. Like
Good.
like they're the ones that when you get to that like that ninth hour and it's like, hey, we have 5 more lawns. Are we gonna finish these today? And they're like, yeah, we're gonna finish them and we're
Right.
gonna get it done.
Yeah.
And they're willing to work extra hours and push. And again, honestly, hats off to them. That's why my business is at where it's at.
Awesome. Love to hear it. So then there's another factor I'll bring up is the weather. Because you could be on, let's just take the same scenario, 8th, 9th, 10th hour, and you got those 5 lawns left that you got to rally around, like, let's finish them, because the next 2 days are rainy, and then you know you're not going to, then you're going to be, when the rain's gone, you're going to be backed up that much more.
Exactly.
So definitely the weather was something to juggle for sure.
Yeah. Luckily for me, and knock on wood, I've never had like major weather delays. I've heard people closing their doors because the weather's been like, there was, I want to say like 2 years ago, it rained all the time.
Yeah.
And I heard one or two guys, companies actually ended up just closing completely because they couldn't keep up with the delays and being backed up, and then clients calling them and giving them,
Yeah.
So yeah, weather's, for me, again, knock on wood, hasn't been overly a problem.
Sure.
We figured it out.
Now you mentioned like pulling a trailer. You got an open trailer or enclosed trailer?
I have an open trailer just because where I park my trailer, it's tight, and I wouldn't be able to get a closed trailer in there unless I got like backup cameras installed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Plus, I think with where I'm at, being like a small business, when I'm teaching guys and stuff like that how to pull a trailer and how to back up a trailer, not that I'm the best at backing up a trailer, and they'll tell you, that opens the easiest. Yeah. So
Yeah.
closed are great because you can just kind of get in it and go.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a good location to park it or know somebody who can like operate a close, then it may not be worth the investment.
Garage on wheels. You know,
Yeah.
you can just leave it anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't want to pull it from point A at the end of the day you can just leave it there and go get it tomorrow. And it create, a lot of versatility, I would say. I'm going to get into ask you what your favorite piece of equipment is. If we're considering an enclosed trailer, that was my favorite because of just like I said, the versatility it provided, that you could just get in and go.
Just get and go, get started right away.
Yeah. And if you don't have like a garage or something to store your stuff in, also, there it is.
Yeah. Everybody I know that has ever done this type of business has either had a unique set of property. Like I have a carriage house at my house.
Yeah.
So I'm able to park all my equipment in there at night, lock it up, know it's safe, and then my trailer sits in my parking lot.
Nice.
Or my parking pad. And one day we'll get there.
No rush. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Exactly.
So we talked briefly about headphones. I'll just interject that I purchased the ones like the big ones. They're like huge and they have like an antenna, and awesome because they're extremely noise canceling. And if you're operating loud equipment, you can actually hear. I started listening to like Dan Patrick radio, like sports radio.
Yeah.
So those were good to have. I'm just gonna one step further. I still use them in my residential homeowner life, and it doesn't look as good when you're not like part of the lawn mowing crew. You're just like
you're just the guy.
You're just the weird guy that used to have a lawn crew, and you still have the big thing. So, just apologies to all my neighbors.
High speed, low drag.
I just still get in the zone, I guess.
It's good. Yeah, no, I definitely use the noise canceling headphones as well. They're like godsend.
Yeah.
One you can like kind of just like you said, get in the zone and kind of just like cruise essentially. Like you're still working, but you're also kind of like enjoying yourself. So you're like kind of like a win-win type situation. And then you asked me what my favorite tool is. I mean, noise canceling headphones is one of them for sure. I've turned around and got my headphones before if I forgot them.
Yeah.
Zero Turn's great, but one thing for just business owners all together, Chat GPT.
Oh yeah.
That's amazing.
I just got that a few months ago.
Yeah.
And it is amazing.
Yeah. So like I'll be able to like type out all my quotes, and sometimes you're just kind of like typing what comes to your head real quick. Boom, 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 boom. Get it in a list.
Yeah.
You take it, you throw it through ChatGPT, clean up the grammar, make it more professional, put it in a contract format.
Yeah.
and it will do it, and it's like night and day compared to what I was doing before. Once I got ChatGPT, I took my previous contracts that I had from years before, which are well worded and everything, but I ran it through, kind of dumbed it down for clients to be able to read, and it really worked in the sense that it was less for them to have to take in.
Yeah.
But it still drove the point home. That thing's been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Game changer in my business.
For these interviews, I type in a little thing about. I mean, it's easier with you because I'm familiar with you and your business and stuff. But I do it anyway, and I just, hey, Nick Brown is a veteran. He owns Bravo Zulu Landscape. Give them a little, and then it spits out all these sample interview questions, and then
that's awesome.
I just take the ones that I think are the best. And
yeah.
ChatGPT is amazing.
ChatGPT.
I would imagine that viewers who were tuning in to lawn and landscape, when we got to the favorite equipment part, they would not expect ChatGPT and noise canceling headphones to be this high up on the list.
Nope.
You're probably thinking like weed whackers and lawnmowers.
Exactly.
Certainly important, obviously. But
yes.
To your point, if you forgot your headphones, you're turning around to get them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a different day having to listen to the equipment, right?
Or your thoughts.
or your thoughts, right? Yeah. So, what are you listening to out there?
I listen to everything: dad rock, heavy metal, rap,
right.
country. Country's there's like seasons. Like I think it's like dad rock in '90s in the summer, and then like slow country in the fall.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was definitely country music when I was mowing, and I like when the sun's out and it's outside. I feel like country music just hits a lot different. So, and then I was a classic rock guy also.
Yeah.
So I juggled between the two. When I got sick of country, I went back and forth.
Exactly.
So those are my two main genres. I would say.
When I worked for the city, obviously I didn't have control of the radio. It was whoever was like senior in the truck.
Oh yeah.
And they'd always listen to country, and so I kind of got used to it, and like you got familiar with the songs, and you roll the windows down, and you're cruising.
Oh yeah.
And kind of they're easy to follow and like repeat and stuff to sing along with. Yeah, it's cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you could landscape one person's house, just a beautiful design, striped lawn, looking beautiful.
Yeah.
You got to hit a home run because this person is important in whatever manner. Whose house would that be?
So everyone may not know who this is. Florence and the Machines.
Okay.
The lead singer, Florence. I was at a concert. I went by myself.
All right.
At a music festival actually, and I didn't know this, but I ended up getting to the front and everything, and she comes down during the concert.
Yeah.
And she started singing with everybody, and then she comes up to me, and she's like in my face, like singing, like holding my hair, everything, and all that. So I had a moment with her, so I feel like that'd be cool. And her photographer got like a picture of it and everything, and ended up posting it in a magazine. So it's just me and Florence, and I'm like,
oh, that's awesome.
So I think that'd just be like cool, like full circle.
Sure, that would be awesome. Yeah. What is your go-to Stewart's snack? Because Stewart's is another wicked important tool because we stop there multiple times. So
so we like to stop at Stewart's like early in the morning, and it's not great, but right now it's a Monster and a blueberry muffin. Okay, and that's like my go-to.
Are you a coffee guy or no?
No, not a coffee guy. In the fall,
okay.
I do like a pumpkin spice.
Yeah.
A maple. I think they have like they have a French toast coffee at Stewart's.
All right.
And so I'll get that and like to kind of like stay warm and kind of give me some energy and stuff like that. But yeah, Monster and blueberry muffin right now.
All right. Yeah. It's whatever you got to do.
And water.
Water's important for sure. I'm just a classic Stewart's hard roll. Either butter
or peanut
butter.
Butter or peanut butter?
Usually one of each.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. See, I'll rotate. So I'll be one time it'll be the blueberry muffin, and in like 3 weeks I'll get sick of the blueberry muffin. Yeah. And then I'll do hard roll with like PB&J. Yeah. And back in the day when we were kids, I would do apple fritter. Yeah. And we'd warm them up, and it'd be like the craziest thing. Now I don't think I'd be able to do that in the heat anymore. Now that I'm 31.
Yeah.
So,
it's funny, we'd be in the thick of it, whatever, however many hours we were working, and we'd always be like, when's Bill gonna pull in the stewards? Like,
yeah, you
it's
never
time for stewards.
You
like,
never know when what's the.
You can't be the young guy that steps up and says like, "Yo,
No.
when you stopping at stewards?" You just gotta roll with it.
No. And Bill was great. 'Cause he did. Bill would be great. So we'd go in, and then everybody would get their snacks, and he'd pay for everybody. And like, I have like 2 or 3 guys in the crew, and I'll do it occasionally.
Yeah.
Bill would have like 8 guys in the crew.
Yeah.
Like, from like 8 in the morning to like 6 at night, and not full straight through. You have two separate shifts. But,
yep.
He'd buy everybody every stop.
Every time.
Every time. It was awesome. So.
Yeah.
Shout out.
It was drinks only for a while, and then I don't remember which one. Somebody broke the barrier and then like got like pizza and egg sandwiches, and they're like, "Dude, drinks only here."
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Drinks only. You gotta cut it off.
My thing is too. Like, my guys go in. I have one kid. God bless his soul, but that boy can eat.
Yeah.
And, he'll grab like 5 different things. I'm like, bud, that's half your pay for the day. Like,
Right.
chill.
Yeah.
What I like to do is take the guys out for wings. So we'll do either the Rock or Brown's has good wings and stuff like that. So we'll do Dino barbecue. That
was actually going to be one of my questions. Also, is what's your favorite after you get done with the long day, food and beverage? So
So I'm a big. I go to the gym, or at least try to. So I get home and I'm a big like rice and beef guy. So nothing fancy, but like with the guys, like when it's time to like enjoy like a day with them or something like that, we'll go out to like the Rock and get some wings. Like 100 wings, just kind of crush.
Oh yeah,
they love it. We love it.
That was my issue with when I was running my own lawn businesses. When I was done, I was very hands-on. Like I was working a lot.
Yeah.
When I was done, I just wanted to be done and like sit by my pool and like have a beer and a burger or whatever it was.
Yeah, something simple.
And then it was like, this is the time you should be like doing invoices and the schedule and like all like the stuff that you don't really know about that you. Until like it's time where you have to do it, and you're like, wow, I should have just been doing a little bit of this every night, and now I have to spend hours doing it. But that was the behind the scenes like paperwork and administrative stuff. Was tough for me. I would say that was a hurdle for me to get used to.
It's definitely sits in the back of my head like get it done. Yeah. Even when you were coming here, I was in the truck. Doing invoices. And I'm lucky. I got a new software. Shout out Jobber.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's great. Like it's like night and day. It changed my business operation. And essentially, before I was doing like cash checks, Venmo, and even when I would do Venmo, I had to like send reminders. And like people forget. Like it's just human nature to be like, I literally forgot. Like so I have to even go through and text them again and stuff like that. Now it's like everybody's card on file. I'm able to get it all set up and I just go through and click complete, and it builds a schedule off for the whole season. Yeah. So I just that person's on a routine schedule, and then after we mow, I just go and complete, and it charges the card automatically. It takes me 30 minutes to go through
that's awesome.
Maybe the week. Yeah. The week of invoices.
Yeah.
30 minutes.
That was the thing. Like I wish that every time I mowed the lawn, I just walked away with the 40, 50, whatever it was. Like I just had it then, because then you're done with it, but you didn't get paid for it yet. So now you have to go do more work to try to get the money.
Knock on the door, and then I love all my clients to death. Like I have a very good relationship with some of my clients, and but the thing is, like, I'll go knock on the door sometimes, and I'll like get the money, then we'll get caught in a conversation. I'll have to like shoo my guys away to go to the next property. Right. Because they're sitting there, we still got stuff going on, and I don't want to be rude. And I actually enjoy the conversation I'm having. But at the end of the day, like, we're working, so I have to like get it moving. Yeah. But like, outside of that, I just was getting people like not paying me. I had people like 3 months behind, and I was like, I'm not doing this again. And I was in the position of like, they're on my list. I want to keep staying up on top of them because say 2-3 weeks goes by, I didn't mow because they weren't paying me, and then all of a sudden come out of the blue like, oh, sorry, my phone, whatever. We have to go back and like now chop down this jungle. So it was like, what do I do here? But at the end of the day, everybody shifted to Jobber, and I don't have any issues. So, nice. Yeah.
If you had to pick one, which season you like better, fall or spring?
I love fall. Okay. Yeah, I think fall is great. I like push, like business wise, I push fall cleanups hard. I think it's good, like a good money, like service, and but my guys hate it. Like after a while with the blow